Oh my. Damn dog. What should you get for buying a German Shepherd? Quiet, you. Quiet. Quit whining. Oh, smells like a big stinky turd in here. Well, I know one thing, one way to fix that. Damn. Wow, wee baby. All that smoke. Okay, everybody. Reason I'm doing a video is this video up here. This is amazing muscle car era factory assembly lines. It's from Count Hackula on here, which you should check his channel out. It's fucking awesome. Has lots of pictures of, like, he does barn finds, old gas or dragsters from the 60s. Has all these pictures in there, okay? There's all these pictures, and he puts music to them. Now, this one in particular, I really like. Now, the reason I like it is because, well, it's old car assembly lines, and it shows the big three, okay? And I'm a little out of breath today. I got a chest cold. But anyhow, when you click on this, what happens? I'm going to click on it. Look at this bullshit right here. Says, following content may contain graphic or violent imagery. Okay? Why? I'm going to go ahead and click yes, play the fucking video. Okay. I want you to tell me, show me what's violent imagery. Oh my God, Corvettes. Oh, that's so violent. Oh, God, a Camaro being assembled. Oh, an AMC. Sorry, AMC's on here too. Oh my God. Mustangs. Holy fuck, the dead Pontiac. Holy fuck. Oh my God, Daytonas. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Look at all of them. I may have to get a drink. Grab me something in here quick. Oh, Jesus. Isn't that Shelby? That's at Shelby, America. There's General Motors Pontiac Firebird plant. It's all Detroit, Michigan stuff here, folks. Dodge Charger, 1968. The fucking Ram Charger. 64 Impala. Y'all know what these cars are. Most of you that viewed my channel got to drive these cars from the dealerships. Okay. Now, yeah. Or you got to drive them when you were growing up, or this was the second-hand cars that your parents had that you got to drive, which was fucking fantastic. So anyway, take me a couple drinks here. Getting kind of off a little bit. I'm not going to show you the whole fucking thing. I really enjoy his videos. And, I mean, they're quite excellent. All in 409s on there. It has all this stuff. I just cut my hair and it's everywhere. Anyway, the reason I showed you this and that right there, and yes, I'm going to go off on a fucking rant. The reason they are putting that up as violent imagery is because I don't know what this is. Anyhow, they're saying that's a manufacturing video from the 60s. Looks like. Let's pause that real quick. Okay. The reason they are saying that is violent content and imagery and stuff like that is because China does all the manufacturing today. That hair. All the manufacturing today of everything that we use pretty much. And GM, Ford, and Chrysler are failing right now as companies because they have turned fucking woke and are producing only fucking electric shit anymore. They are still producing some gasoline stuff, but it's not going to be long. They're not going to be producing any more gasoline stuff because they're stupid. They want to go bankrupt, apparently. Because that's what happens when your CEOs and your executives of your company pay attention to the stock market more than they pay attention to what the consumer wants. They just throw something out there and say, here it is. Buy it. You better buy it. It's like, well, we're not going to buy it because it's extremely expensive. When you have a pickup truck that you're manufacturing and it's more expensive than a fucking house, no, thank you. I'm not going to buy it. I can't even get a mortgage for a house. So, damn, hat was pulling my little stubby hair that I have left. Anyway, they don't want you seeing that content. They're probably going to rip that down before long. I figure YouTube will rip it down because, any bunches of social media, any of the social media outlets, they don't want you seeing the actual truth. Because the rich elites run these organizations now. I'll probably get thrown the fuck off here for telling you that. But they are trying to keep real, truthful information from you. They don't want you seeing the facts. They want to make up shit and feed you lies to mislead you as much as possible. Because they want 15-minute cities to happen. They want to round us all up like cattle, stick us in these 15-minute cities. We won't have cars. We won't have belongings. We'll just be able to live. And that's it. We'll have to depend on them for everything. They don't want you seeing that content because they don't want you seeing that we were a fucking manufacturing superpower at one time. And all these asshole politicians and rich elites have taken that away from us. They're successful now. They have officially taken it away. They've taken it away, and without the right people down there in D.C., if you get the right person in office down there in D.C., he can put an end to these rich elites. He can put a leash on them, put them in the insane asylums where they belong. Like Bill Gates, Al Gore, there's so many of them. Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey. Let me see. Who else? Who else is there? George Soros. He's a big one. He's like number one. He's the leader. He's the ringleader. He's Hitler of the bunch. And he believes in Hitler ideology. He is big time into Hitler. I mean, some bitch has youth knives and memorabilia and all that shit. He's a very, very dangerous person. He needs something done with him. In the United Nations, we need to end the UN. The UN is just awful. They have been taken over by these elites. And whatever they say goes, and they're trying to take over the world. That's why you're always hearing about World War III's coming, World War III's coming. I hope it is not. But if shit keeps happening, like it is, we're going to see it. And we're going to have a bunch of young men that are pussies and can't fight. And us old bastards are going to have to go fight. This is what's going to happen. Us Gen Xers are going to have to all team up and go fight. Just like the movie Red Dawn, where all the Russians try to come over and take over the United States, and all that's left is us Gen Xers to fucking defend the nation. I fear that's what's coming. And I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that at all whatsoever. That is very disgusting. So, and these people protesting against Israel in our country, and they're just letting them go. We have politicians that are saying death to Israel, death to them, death to the Jews. You can't do that. That's Hitler talk, man. Here we have all these politicians in office. They're for the communist side. They want to end Israel. I was like, Jesus Christ, our grandparents fought in World War II to free all the Jewish people. What the hell is that? Is that this TV? I think it's something up my sister's house. Weird. Anyway, I just thought I would make a video on that because I was clicking on them. I was watching these videos this morning. And I decided to cut my hair. And I seen that video. And I remembered it of the manufacturing video. And it's all violent content. It's like, damn. How is it violent? There's nothing violent there. They just don't want you to see manufacturing in the United States. Because they've successfully ended it. And there's very few things made in this country anymore. And we need to change that. If you want to make our country great, we need to bring back manufacturing. We need to shut down China. We need to quit buying shit from them. We need to revoke their fucking land ownership over here in the United States. They're buying up farmland left and right. So's Bill Gates. He needs to be taken out. We need to take him out and give the land back to the people. And we all need to get up and rise up and stand together. I don't give a fuck what your skin color is. We need to stand together and end this bullshit. I would tell you to call your congressman, but you can't even trust them anymore. They're just out for the money. They're out for the money. They're all in the stock market. They got their hands in your pockets. And other lobbyists have so much control over them. That's how they've enriched themselves over the years, through lobbying. The lobbyists, there's goddamn many of them down there, constantly trying to put money in our politicians' pockets. These politicians make $150,000 a year regular salary. And you tell me, is that enough to have, for each politician to have a private jet, a fucking yacht, what the fuck else? Several summer homes, like homes on lakefront properties, oceanfront properties. Really? They have this. Our senators and congressmen have this. They should not. When you're in office, you should not be able to play the stock market, number one. Number two, if you're caught taking money off a lobbyist, you're fired. You're out of there. You're done. Immediate dismissal. And term limits. Those politicians, each of those congressmen and senators should only have a maximum of 8 years in there to end this career politician shit, to end these incoherent, babbling 80-year-old fucking assholes that are in there shitting in their fucking pants and having mini strokes while they're talking to the press. Hey, fucking Mitch McConnell, that motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ, man. That old son of a bitch needs to be put in a nursing home. Look at him. He just all of a sudden, you know he's there shitting his pants, pissing himself. Joe Biden, another one, standing there, shitting himself. You see him with that face. You see him there doing that. I saw a video the one day of it. They were having a press conference. Him and Camel Toe was there. She was running her fucking cackling fucking ass on the podium over there. And he was standing way off to the side, and his face made that. He made that face. And then all of a sudden it just wiped it off his face. Then you look, they pan down to her, and she's there talking, and all of a sudden she goes, she was downwind from that. He shit his pants. And all that shit carried to her downwind, and she got a big old whiff of it. Good. Good, you fucking whore. Good. Sorry, people. I just can't help myself these days. Now, I haven't been sick. I was telling you all that before. I haven't been sick for 3 fucking years. Now, here we are. I have a chest cold. It kind of went through stages. It's not awful. It's not horrendous. The coughing sucks at night. I'll cough like a son of a bitch. But this is proof that, you know, shit's happening. Things are being released into the air. I'm not going to go into specifics, but you know what I'm talking about. Because the common cold disappeared back in 2020. All of a sudden, it's gone. It's gone. We replaced it with that other thing. It was replaced with that other stuff. You know, we had to quarantine in. I'm not going to say too much about it, because YouTube will strike me down if I say anything. If I say the C word, they'll strike me down. So anyhow, now all of a sudden it's back. The common cold is back. My kids got it. They're sick with the common cold. See, mine, it started out as itchy, watery eyes, runny nose. Then it moved on to sneezing. I was sneezing a lot, like an allergy, kind of like an allergy. Then it goes on to an earache. I had an earache in this ear, and I've never in my entire life of living ever had an earache in my life. If I did, I was too young to remember it. But as far as I know, I've never had anything like that. And I had one for one whole evening. It wasn't awful. It was just real sore to the touch here. I had a hell of a time touching here and back here, and, you know, just around my ear canal there. I was, it was kind of painful, like somebody punched me in the ear, you know, and, it is fucking raining right now. Anyhow, then it turned into my chest started feeling heavy. It started getting heavier and heavier. So I started taking the old over-the-counter Mucinex pills. They do work quite well, by the way. They can on occasion work. But anyway, I took them. The next morning, I was coughing up stuff. I was coughing up that nasty, snotty shit. And then, you know, I didn't have so many pills. I kind of used them sparingly because, you know, you can't hardly afford any fucking thing anymore. I can't afford to even go out and buy a bunch of car parts like I was doing because inflation's so fucking high. Because of that jackass in office letting it fucking go awry. And I used what I had. I'm out. And when I get like this, when I'm coming down off of it, I start to get an itchy, scratchy throat, and I have to keep drinking things, sucking on them fucking disgusting cough drops. They're so gross. I try to get the sugar-free ones. If you get the sugar-free ones, they don't leave that film on your teeth like the ones with sugar. Sugar does that. It'll leave a film, like a disgusting film, like you just dumped a bunch of liquid beef fat in your mouth and then left it cool off. And it just coats you and holds inside of your mouth. It's so gross. Makes you want to fucking gag. And you're constantly digging your fingernail across your fucking teeth, pulling shit off your teeth. And it's so gross. So I quit eating the ones that have sugar in them years and years ago. And I've been buying the sugar-free ones, which for some reason are getting hard to find. It's like they want everybody to go into sugar shock around here. As my elementary school teacher used to tell me. He'd tell everybody that one ice cream per child is what we were allowed. And we couldn't get back in line and buy a second ice cream at lunchtime in elementary school because he said that we would go into sugar shock. And I was like, yeah. Screw you, old man. Like, I'm going back in line, damn it. I never did, but, you know. Those were the days when you had to finish your plate. You had to finish what was on your tray. If you were going through that line and you saw them getting ready to put something on your plate that you knew you wasn't going to eat, you had to speak up and tell them, hey, I don't want that. You'd always hear them, no peaches, no pears, I don't want no pears. Because they would have peaches and pears on there, like, you know, on pizza day. You'd have a pizza, you'd have peaches and pears, and then you'd have one of them push-up, like icy things, you know, look like it had a weird shape. You have to tear it open the top and squeeze the bottom of it and it'd pop up out, and you could have that instead of your ice cream if you wanted. They would have that, or, you know, just like corn or green beans or something like that. Just something good. It was always good stuff. It was always good school lunch, and now it's horrendous. Until you get to high school. High school has a variety of shit, you know. They did. I don't know if they still do or not, but they probably don't now. Probably making you eat goddamn vegetable-based fake meat in school. But anywho, enough about that shit. But I'm just saying, we got to put an end to the bullshit. I'm sitting here telling you till I'm blue in the face about it, and you're all probably tired of fucking hearing about it. So I had to break the ice with the Chevelle. Plus, it smelled like a fucking dead groundhog's asshole in here when I came in the door. It stunk so bad. It stunk so very, very bad. Very bad. It was horrendous. There, my hat's pulling my hair again. I had to shave my head. I hate it when my hair grows out. It just annoys me. This right here is all I like right here. Right there. It gets kind of long at times. I need to get me some beard oil. Put on that bitch. I think about making it get it nice and bushy and curving the old stash up a little bit. Like those bald guys that used to lift the kettlebells back in the 30s. But anyway, everybody. I'm going to wear my channel out with cold starts. It seems like they get some hits. They do get a lot of hits. So. This is Ford Motor Company 1960s automobile production line. But I want to say another thing about mining. In order to have anything, you have to have mining. You have to mine for it. And they're shown on here. I'm gonna rewind that shit. Come on. Let me show you that shit. This is fucking awesome shit right here. I'll click this back. Now this is what I do for a living here. Which they don't, well, they use them shovels still, but we don't. Down there. This is iron ore, is what this is. That train full of iron ore headed to the steel mill, baby. Now this is back in 1960, right here. Look at all this technology. This is all happening in like Pittsburgh, PA, and places like that. Then all this stuff is now shit. Nobody cares, Wayfair. Fuck you. Anyhow, we're seeing iron ore being separated.
I want one that won't cost too much to run. That's more important to me, than the looks of a car.
This is when the consumer was important.
I like the way the sound of the sedan, but I need a wagon because that thing could be full of samples. It has to be full of merchandise at times. I've got a dog and 3 kids. It could be full of that.
I know this is probably boring to some folks.
It's a frame of mind. I get the same quality and luxury in a car of this size as I would if I would have spent thousands of dollars more.
Where does the customer's new car begin? It begins in the minds of people, our first resource. Sometimes they ask us. Sometimes they tell us, with words, a shrug, a smile, a frown. They tell us by what they buy, or don't buy. But however they tell us, it begins too in our scientific research laboratories. Gateway to the unknown. In the structure of particles often
look at them big
smaller than the
computers.
atom, all searching out the structural secrets of solids in order to make them stronger, more durable, to make them do more, to produce better materials, to make stronger, better performing components. As it begins with inquisitive minds, free
Now this
to
is
search
quality
for
at
the
work
unknown,
here.
so does it begin with enormous physical capabilities, the might and muscle, the brute strength necessary to make the kinds of cars that people want.
See, their concern is what you want. It used to be. It used to be what you were after.
It begins with an ever-growing investment in factories, machines, facilities, resources, equipment, materials, supplies. It begins with a corporate conscience, a determination to reduce industrial waste pollutants, exploring the limits of existing technology. $24 million spent on pollution control alone in this one plant. Enough to build an entire assembly plant a few years ago. It begins...
See, now, that's the shit I'm talking about right there. That's manufacturing. It used to happen right here. They closed all this shit up because they want cheap labor, and they move it to China because you're going to get cheap labor there because they're all slaves. That whole country is nothing but filled with slaves and mindless sheep. That's what they want to turn our country into, folks. That's the whole message I'm trying to get across. They're trying to turn us into mindless idiots, and it's working. Our young people, our Gen Z and our millennials, they're totally naive to this aspect, and they don't believe this shit. I'm always called a conspiracy theorist on this stuff because people don't believe this shit because they're so bamboozled by the liberal fucking what do I want to say? The liberal media. They are really manipulating people into thinking that there's nothing wrong out here, that this is freedom, and it's not. This is not freedom. This is taking everything you have worked for. This is taking everything our veterans have fought for and died for granted. They're taking it away from us. We can't let this happen. We need to bring manufacturing back to the country. We need to fire up the old steel plants in Pittsburgh. We need to fire up the old need to knock down those old facilities in Detroit and rebuild them because they're too far gone now. We need to build automobiles with quality and greatness again. We need to build vehicles like we used to have. We used to run around back, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. 80s not so good, or 90s. 90s were pretty bad for vehicles. That's when they were going to shit. But the unfortunate thing was they had to bring computers into the mix in the 80s, which was stupid. A computer-controlled vehicle is a dumb thing. Y'all need to get your heads out of your asses with the luxury shit and start being more practical. Buying a practical vehicle. See, if we bring our own energy sector back, we start, coal mining like a motherfucker again. Bring back all our shut down coal-fired plants because we need them and they're not bad for the environment like these rich elites are telling you, lying to you, saying that, they're so bad for the environment. No, there's nothing wrong with the environment. There never has been. There's never has been anything wrong. This global warming thing is a sham. It's not real. It's a smokescreen for rich elites to take all your fucking money. That's all this is. This is a money grab. This is propaganda, and they have successfully ran it up your fucking ass and made people that are really naive believe it all. And they're just going way too far with this stuff, and they're making everybody think. The smoke screen is shit like Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, feminists, and these are their smoke screens. So while this hand's doing this over here, this hand over here is getting your wallet. And it's doing things that you don't see because this hand over here is barking at you, trying to get your fucking attention into making you believe horse shit. And it's true. And these people are unfortunately believing it. We need to stop this. And that this woke shit, that is another smokescreen. The woke thing. Drag queens coming to your kids' school and reading stories and shaking their nuts at everybody? Nah. They're pedophiles and they need put in jail. Is what they need. If you're a drag queen, you're going to put on an adult show for a bunch of gay people. That's your own problem. You have the freedom to do so. When you're coming to an elementary school with your nuts out, dressed like a woman, that is unacceptable. That is jail time right there. And when you know what happens to those motherfuckers when they get in jail, they don't make it out. So this all needs to stop. Black Lives Matter, that's fake shit. That's a bunch of assholes making money and then promising the African American community how they're going to get slave reparations and shit. And that's another crock of shit too. Y'all weren't slaves. Your ancestors may have been, but where are they at now? They have turned to dust in the ground. You're trying to get money from people that did that labor back in those days, and you have done nothing. You weren't a slave. You were not, us folks were not slaves. We are kind of to the government because of, the ungodly amount of hours we have to work to make ends meet. But this reparation thing, that is just a bunch of greed. And that's them pumping that into people's heads, making them think that, what's happening is because, they're hated and everything. And they're not hated. They're not hated at all. I don't hate any race because they exist. I hate people that are assholes. I hate rich assholes is who I hate. And I hate liars. And I hate people that try to feed you bullshit. That's what I hate. I don't hate any individual because of their culture or where what their color of their skin is or where they're from. That is none of my concern. And if you're a man and you think you're a woman inside, that's your problem. Deal with it your own way. You don't have to shove it up everybody's ass and say, hey, what do you think about me? I'm a woman inside. Well, good for you. I don't care. Move along. Tell somebody who gives a fuck, because I don't. And these Black Lives Matter folks, they've just enriched themselves with this money. They haven't given it to any black organizations. They have never done that. They have just enriched themselves. They have mansions, yachts, all kinds of cars. That bitch that's ahead of that stuff, she needs fucking thrown in jail. This is a scam. And I've never seen anything these days. Back in the 1980s when I was a kid, when scams were exposed, those people went to jail. Now it's like scams are run rampant. And you see them constantly on Facebook. Everything's a scam. Everything. Down to, oh, you get a free roof on your house. Oh, hey, look, if you click this and let us fill up your email with bullshit and call you constantly to try to sell you shit, we'll give you this thing of free tools. And no, that's wrong. You ain't getting fuck for free. You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting a free roof for your fucking house. You're not getting free windows for your house. You're not getting anything. Oh, there's a stimulus package Joe Biden left out. No, there isn't. There is no stimulus package coming out. The only thing that's coming out is more inflation, more high energy prices. The higher your grocery bill's getting, it's going to get more. We're going to get more. It's awful. I know it is. We have to speak our minds next November and get this taken care of. We need to get this asshole out of there. We need to not comply with orders to stay home because they're going to throw COVID at us again. Now, I mean, you can think about that however you want. I have my own opinion on it, and that's what I think. But we definitely need to bring manufacturing back to our country because quality is at an all-time low, almost non-existent. You buy anything off anywhere, like eBay or Amazon or anything like that, it's all from China. It's all junk. It's all garbage. I've proved that with several things that I bought for my automobiles here. The only thing that's any good is stuff you get at Rock Auto because it's new old stock. New old stock is stuff that was new, still in the packaging, and it was never sold. And you can buy it from them at a discounted price. It's a quality part for less money than what you can around local auto parts stores. There are a bunch of rip-off motherfuckers now, too. Fucking CarQuest and Napa and Advanced, and one horrible one's AutoZone. I don't know about O'Reilly's because we don't have one around here. I couldn't tell you about those. But it's funny, when I was a kid, there was a place called Giant Auto. Advanced bought them out. It's called Giant Auto Parts. And then they had one that was called Track Auto. I actually worked at Track Auto at one time. I was a tracker. They called you when they employed you. You were a tracker. Because I worked at Hunter Douglas and I got laid off there the one year. Like after the first year I was there, I got laid off in January. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I got in there, now I'm laid off. So I took a part-time job selling auto parts. It was horrendous. It was an awful job. It sucked. I worked with a bunch of women, which was okay. But then you would have to go out and put windshield wipers on people's cars, put batteries in their cars. I was putting a battery in a guy's car one time down there, and I hooked it up wrong by mistake, blew his ignition fuse. That guy, I thought, oh man, this guy's going to chew me up and spit me out here, but he's like, oh, no problem, buddy. I was like, this is my fault. I'll pay for the part. I'll pay for the fuse. I said, we'll get the fuse. I said, I'll see which one it is. I said, I'll go ahead and get another one. I said, I'll just take it out of my pay. And he's like, nah. He's like, I'll buy it. No problem, buddy. Don't worry about it. As a man, I think he realized that I wasn't making jack shit of fucking money. Plus, I still lived with my parents. It wasn't a big deal. I worked that job so I could keep my car insurance paid up. That's the only reason I did that, because I had no loans at the time out. I'd paid one off years ago. Back when I was 17, I got a loan out. I worked and worked. I paid it off. And I didn't have any real big bills at the time. Just my car insurance. That's all I had. I had to give my mother so much money a month for car insurance. The good old days. But anyhow, everybody, need to definitely bring manufacturing back. And there's another video on there. I'm not sure if it's on there on YouTube or not, but you need to search for mining videos. There's a mining video I watched because every year, I have to go for a refresher on mining because Mining Safety and Health Administration of the federal government makes you do this every year. And it's a must. You have to. And you learn things like CPR, rescuers. Even though I'm not underground miner, I'm a surface miner. You learn about the self-rescuers and how they only last for an hour. If you're buried alive for an hour and you're using a self-rescuer, you can live off of CO2 for a certain amount of time. When you're underground like that and there's no oxygen and you're trapped, they have little safe houses underground you can get into, and they lead to the surface. They have a pipe that goes clear to the surface. So people that are trying to dig you out can speak with you. But usually when you have a cave in, your ventilation system stops working. So there you are. You're there with a self-rescuer on your face. It's a thing that you put on your face. It locks up on around your face. It attaches to your head and has a big thing on the bottom. What it does is it pulls carbon monoxide, I guess it would be. Pulls like CO2 out of whatever. And you can only, out of whatever air is there. It tries to pull oxygen out of it, but it doesn't get much. And you get mostly carbon monoxide, and you can live off of that for at least an hour. After that, you're done. Unless for some reason they can pump oxygen down to you through that pipe that's in those little safe houses in the ground. That's how they found all them Brazilian miners that time. But anyhow, they all actually survived that one. But I know there was one over here in West Virginia one time. Or it was in Pennsylvania over here one time. I went to a car show to that place. It was at a church over there. And they had this, it was a memorial to them because they got a cave in. And by the time they got them out, everybody was dead. Well, the one guy was alive for a short period of time, but he had brain damage because he had been on that self-rescuer. He actually used one up and swapped with another one and was currently using it. And his brain got so damaged, it was like he was mentally retarded after that, and then he died. So it killed the part of the brain that tells the heart to beat. That went out of his brain, and he passed away. And these people gave their lives for us to have steel, because you have to use coal in order to melt that iron ore. You have what they call met coal, which is usually the Tyson seam of the coal world. It is the Tyson seam. They use that to melt iron ore to make steel. That's what they call met coal. That goes on the trains usually and heads to China. We do have a steel plant or two left in the United States that still does make some tinny stuff. A couple I-beams. But there's not a lot of them here. The fucking wind is whipping today. And, anywho, you should watch that video, that mining video. Because I have to take this course every year. I'm about due for it. I think it's next month, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to have to give up a Saturday and go to it. Well, I actually worked this past one. I think we're supposed to have this next one off, is what I was told. We'll see what happens. But anyhow, I almost got you on here for a fucking hour running my mouth and bullshit. So, let everything sink in that I told you, everybody. Trying to keep you all sane. The older folks, they all know what I mean. People that are older than me, they know. They know what I'm talking about. You younger guys, you guys in your 20s, in your early 30s, you really need to pay attention to that shit. I wished I could take you all back to the 80s and get drilled into your head what all the old timers drilled into our heads when we were kids about respecting your elders, thanking veterans, and making you understand why freedom is not free and why mining and manufacturing is so important to our living. But everybody, which makes me wish I could dig up Ronald Reagan and put him back in the fucking seat. He was a union killer, but I tell you, he knew what the fuck he was talking about when he talked about freedom and how to keep that freedom. And he says the worst thing, you need to start worrying. The worst thing that could ever happen is somebody show up your house saying, "Hello, I'm from the government. I'm here to help." No. And I'm just going to go ahead and close with this. What I want to say is, the nation is a car. And it's kind of like a taxi. The guy that's driving the taxi is the government. You are sitting in the back. That would be us, we the people. We're sitting in the back. We tell that car where to go. Hey, I want to go here. The driver in the driver's seat, which is the government, says no problem. But now it's like this. The bullshit that's happening now is, hey, I'm going to take you here and you're going to like it. That's what they're doing. But remember, one thing to remember, we are the ones that put those assholes in there and we can take them out. The United States is a big fucking taxi cab. We're basically the operators. We're the drivers. We're the boss. We are the ones. We're the bosses. They work for us. You got to keep that in mind. They work for us. We're the boss. We tell those motherfuckers where to shit. They don't tell us nothing. Because we live by the Constitution. And are trying to tear that up and throw it away. We can't let that happen. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. I hate to be so dark and dismal here lately, because it's, you know, when you're scratching and clawing by, because I used to do that whenever I first moved out on my own. I had to scratch and claw and really pinch pennies and raising a child and, you know, paying all your own fucking bills that you couldn't afford because you only made fucking $4 or $5 an hour. And it was just total hell back then. And it seems like this is returning. My hell is returning. I can't do a fucking thing. I can't afford nothing. Can't go anywhere. I can barely buy groceries. I can barely buy gasoline to get to work. And your places of employment don't want to give you no raises. They want to keep you right at a set fucking salary of, not really a salary, but an hourly pay, and then work you to death. A man should only have to work 3 days a week to make a living and survive. And be able to have what they want. And what they need. We should be able to thrive and survive on a 3-day work week. On a 3-day work week. We should be able to do everything that we want to do. The rest of that time we should have off to spend with our families. I see these guys I work with way more than I see my families. And that's bullshit. I mean, I like everybody I work with. Sometimes they hire a fucking asshole that I don't like. That just comes with the territory. But you're seeing these people more than you see your family. And that's bullshit because you end up getting out of touch with your family. This is how people cheat on their spouses and all that stuff. It's all, your families fall apart because you're working way too fucking much. If we worked 3 days a week and had 4 off, we would all be a lot better off. The stress levels would be down so much more. We would hardly have any stress. You wouldn't have people missing work. And that's when you split people up and put them on different days. Everybody can work together because we can keep everything open together. We don't have to cut everybody's time out in public back, like store times back. You split up everybody and have them work accordingly to keep everything open all the time. You could keep stores open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you just shuffle your people around, pay them the wage they deserve, get inflation down. First thing is to get energy prices down. Everything will follow. When you get energy prices down, prices of everything else will drop like a rock. We get the right guy in office next time, that can happen. We need to be energy independent once again. And we need to amend the Constitution when that happens. Make it something that they can't easily take away. We must mine and drill for our own energy. We must have coal-fired plants and nuclear. We must have this stuff. Wind and solar is not going to cut it. If you want to join it with the other stuff, sure, go for it. But it is not going to be the sole thing that powers our nation. It can't. There's not enough land to put enough of this shit on there. And those windmills are operated by diesel fucking generators anyway. That's what controls the fucking wind speed, or the propeller speed on those. That's what operates the big brake that slows them down. And refires them whenever, the high winds go down. They refire them when the lighter winds come back. And solar panels are made with coal and all kinds of other elements. You can't have a solar panel without coal. So how are you going to stop mining for coal when you need coal to make solar panels? It's kind of redundant, don't you think? Oh, we need to stop mining. If you stop mining, you ain't going to have nothing. You're not going to have anything from cars down to the glasses on my face. You're not going to have shit. Keep that in mind. I'm going to keep reminding all of you till election day of this bullshit. Keep y'all on track if anybody watches. Don't know if anybody will. But thanks to all my 515 subscribers. Thank you very much for tuning into my horse shit and listening to me rant. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Everybody have an excellent, shitty, fucking, motherfucking Sunday. I hate Sundays. Sundays suck shit. Anyway, have a good one. Be safe, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.